Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And I'm Uncle Doug.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is your first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear, that's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields.
We're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get one that we know of, so you'd better make the most of it.
Charge! Well, we are the triumvirate uncleate.
I don't think either of those were words.
I was feeling very Roman just then.
You were.
Yes. The three was here together.
Dopius Unculus.
Yes, exactly right. Another show. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'll start us off if you want.
Yeah, why don't you start?
I'll tell us all about how nice our life is going to be in the very near future.
Yes, very near future. I can't wait for that.
One can only hope.
Although I'm feeling overdressed.
Yes,
for
indeed.
it. And I'm going to instruct us to dig, young man.
dig away.
Yes.
And then we're going to do a little how-to about how, not to be an asshole.
Which is most of our
That'll
stuff.
be very
right.
controversial.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Episode 75. Let's roll. Uncle Doug.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Well, I'm over here, but I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh, okay.
What are all these piles of clothes laying hereabouts? Did you have some pride in how you live? Well, you're not Uncle Dan after all.
Where did all the party guests go?
Yeah. So
Uncle
pick
Dan
up
has
after yourself.
disappeared.
Where'd he go?
Yes, gentlemen.
There's a lot of laundry.
That's correct.
Free clothes.
Brace yourselves, because my segment today is going to be eschatological.
Whoa.
Not to be confused with scatological, which would be an even more fun.
Well, we'll find ways to make it
I'm
both.
sure it will be both. I'm sure it will be both.
We'll get some poop in there.
Eschatology, as you both know, is the study of the enden times,
Yes.
the final days.
Yes, the last scene,
The
last act,
the
final curtain,
In most cases, it's the first act of a terrible film, but yeah.
the dirt nap.
Oh my God! So yes, we're going to talk about the rapture. It's a thing that has confused me ever since I first tried to do any looking into it.
Yeah.
Because them as believes in it are usually the most Bible thumpingest, biblical literalist guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And it's not in the Bible.
Right.
Not in any expressly laid out sort of way.
You're saying that what some believers might believe is not in the text?
Weird.
Holy shit.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have known?
Hold on.
Right? Are we all ready for this?
We have changed the editorial opinion of the How-To Heretic.
This was a system of beliefs started as near as I can tell in the 18th century with a couple of puritanical creatures, creatures. Okay, that too. But we'll call them preachers.
That puritanical ossifrage
Yes, exactly.
and his friend Billy Goat.
That's right.
Yeah.
A father-son team who may not have liked each other very much, named, and these may be my favorite names that we've ever spoken on this podcast. Increase and Cotton Mather.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Cotton Mather.
Yep. And his papa Increase.
I love that. I love Increase.
Right?
That's a great name.
Isn't that an amazing name?
Yeah.
They kind of started this whole thing. By the way, Cotton Mather is a name you may have heard of because he was sort of one of the guys largely blamed for the Salem witch trials and stuff. He kind of popularized
That's
the
right.
idea that there was witches about and that they were bewitching the folk.
Yeah.
Got a lot of ladies killed because of him.
That he saw Hester Prynne up to no good.
Right, yeah, exactly. I saw Goody Proctor with the devil. Anywho, so these two guys sort of started the thing. Then there was a guy named John Nelson Darby. He was British, and he was a member of a group called the Plymouth Brethren, and they were hardcore dudes. And they came.
Nothing good comes from that name.
No,
That I've never heard before.
right?
I know
Yeah,
it's not
exactly. But he really popularized and sort of disseminated the idea of the rapture. Couldn't think of the word. And then it kind of came across the pond here to the States from him, and then it became popularized by different people who interpreted the Bible differently, and now it's just a bunch of ding-dongs making Christian movies.
You know, I'll tell you what though, if I had to wear a hat buckle, I would look for a myth where that could miraculously not be on my head anymore.
I think hat buckles are coming back. You mark my words.
You're free of buckled accessories.
Headgear.
Yeah. Well, in episode 18, I think it was, we had Christopher Stroop on to talk about a literal fucking thing, rapture anxiety.
Yeah.
That there were people who grew up and their mom didn't pick them up from soccer, and they're like, well, fuck it, it's over.
It's done.
I'm done.
I didn't make the cut.
Like literally going home to an empty house and having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So this is how toxic and dangerous a stupid idea can be.
Well, so let's talk about what this idea is, because there's a popular culture understanding of it that's pretty darn close to what we're dealing with. Why don't you guys describe sort of what your image of how you understand the rapture is, and then we'll go through what it actually...
I can state it simply: a world without Christians. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Heaven.
And free clothes everywhere.
That's right. There have been how many rapture themed movies?
Right.
So that's my vision. Is buses crashing into traffic and planes without pilots.
Incredibly low production values.
That's right.
Right.
Kind of a sad, poorly lit Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and David A.R.
Wandering
White
around an airport.
David A.R. White trying to find his wife.
Right.
God turns on his holy vacuum cleaner and just sucks up all of the Christians at once, sort of thing.
And there's just piles of clothes everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Well, the clothes thing that's a question. Who knows? Does he take the clothes? Maybe you get to keep your clothes. I don't know.
I think he should leave the poo, because you don't want any impurities
in heaven.
So there should just be piles of shit everywhere. Keep your clothes.
I got news for you. You get into a Christian church and it's a bunch of piles of shit.
In Uncle Mark's rapture, you keep your clothes and leave your shit.
So yeah, basically that's what we're talking about. Now there are several points in Christian eschatology because the Bible does talk about what will happen in the end times, as we remember from Uncle Doug's beautiful and totally comprehensible tour through Revelation.
Careful examination of the book of Revelation.
Right. Which we all then understood every word of. Not your fault. But it's not just that. There's stuff in Matthew. There's stuff in the epistles of St. Paul. There are all these things talking about what will happen in the end times. Now, we can get to. I'll get to that later. Here's the thing. Their basics are that there will be a period of tribulation, usually 7 years. Mm-hmm. There will be a second coming of Jesus, and I'm going in no particular order right now. There will be a millennium, which means 1,000 years, or maybe it doesn't mean 1,000 years. Maybe that's just a metaphorical time period. But there will be a period of peace.
Yeah, where God comes back and reigns.
Yes,
Jesus,
and then there will be a final judgment.
Right.
Now, the order in which you place these things and where you put Jesus coming back in that order changes how you view the rapture. There are what we call post. So the tribulation, which is the 7 years of really shitty times when the Antichrist comes in.
As we know, administered by the United Nations.
Correct. Correct. Though weirdly, that organization is not mentioned by name in the Bible, you'd think, but it's not.
Well, it is if you take the first sentence of the fourth paragraph of the 9th verse,
right,
and you invert it, and then
which says united, and then there's another one that says nations,
right, and multiply that by begat,
right,
and then obviously you get to a U. And later an N.
Right.
So
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Take that, Poindexter.
Carry the Jesus.
Don't add us.
So there are sort of four major views on how the final days will go. There's the post-tribute, or when we're talking about a rapture, there's the post-tribulational premillennialisms. So they say that there's a tribulation, then the second coming, then the millennium, and then the second coming. The second coming is what I call the final judgment, because Jesus comes back and then judges everybody.
Or the third coming.
Well, yes, exactly.
Which is, is pretty impressive. Certainly at my age, it's not possible. I mean, I think you got to be in your early 20s.
It's a myth. It's a myth. Yeah. Pre-tribulational. So there's a second group of pre-tribulational dispensational premillennialism.
Jesus Christ.
Now, dispensationalism.
I hate that I have to know what any of that means.
You don't.
Just go ahead and hit me in the head with a hammer. Just get this over with.
So that means that the rapture is going to happen pre-tribulation. So this is where the
Left Behind
largest
series,
swath
right.
of rapturists live.
Yeah.
So before the tribulation, all the good Jesus lovers get sucked up to heaven, and then there's the tribulation, which they don't have to sit through, although they're going just to the clouds and the air. So maybe they're looking down on it. I would imagine they're bored. And
there's a real vengeance, a real idea of Schadenfreude and vengeance tied up in the Christian idea of the rapture. So they're probably watching. And enjoying.
Yes, exactly. They're watching as it's their favorite show.
Yeah.
Then there's the tribulation, which is the 7 years, and then the second coming of Christ. But it's the second coming, because the first second coming is the rapture, but the second coming, he comes back. So he comes back for the church. This is how they talk about it. He comes back the first time for the church, meaning he sucks them all up, and then he comes back with the church, meaning he brings them with him.
Boom.
To fight the good fight.
Oh, yeah.
They defeat Satan, and then you got your millennium, and then your last judgment.
I can't wait to face an army of chubby, elderly John Hagees
and women named Karen.
Yeah, who want to talk to the manager
Right.
with a sword.
They've got that haircut.
So
It's great.
their clothes don't go with them, but their ability scooters do. Right? And their diabetes goes with them.
Their CPAPs go with them.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. And then we've got like post-millennialism and amillennialism. We don't have to talk about those guys. Anyway, so yes, the vast quantity of these people believe that before the tribulation happens, they all pop up into the heavens.
And these are people with driver's licenses,
yes.
children.
Yeah, under a certain age.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
What I'm saying is this is a huge swath of the American electorate.
Yep.
This is probably 90% of every Republican office holder in this country,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The others are Mormons and Trump.
Right. Well, and we should mention that this is not a belief, the rapture is not a belief that is shared by Catholics or Eastern Orthodox,
Right.
or most even of the Protestant Christian sects.
Yeah, this is pretty exclusively evangelical, right?
Largely, yeah. That's what it's come to. It bounced around in different sects. A lot of people tried it on, decided it didn't fit, left it behind.
Left it on a pile on the ground.
Left it behind. Yes, exactly. It was left behind. So where does this come from?
I think most people are too self-conscious to believe in this.
I know.
A naked eternity is just unthinkable, and I include myself.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to jump to where in the Bible we can account for this, and you guys tell me how well these Bible passages lead your brain to this conclusion.
Sure.
No whammies.
I'm going to start with 1 Thessalonians. This is Paul's epistle to the Thessalonians, chapter 4.
And it was the best Thessalonians, let's be
I'm going to
frank.
call it 1 Thessalonians.
Yeah. Who was the first, anyway?
Yes, indeed.
The sequel sucked.
So I'm going to jump down to, let's see, midway through verse 16. I'll start with verse 16. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, And the dead in Christ will rise first. That's the dead first.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air.
All right.
And so we will be with the Lord forever.
Okay.
In the air.
Ta-da!
That's it.
That's basically it.
So first zombies,
Yeah.
then they get beamed up.
Then they get beamed
They're
up.
really crossing the genres here.
Right. So there's that.
Well, that's not nothing to work with.
It's not nothing.
There's some, there's some tissue there you could build
I suppose.
a crazy idea out of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy idea.
Yeah.
This right there.
So it doesn't really. So first off, that particular scripture doesn't really mention where in the timeline this happens, except that the Lord is coming down from heaven. So we know that, and it talks about, those who have fallen asleep with the Lord. I don't know what that means. One assumes die. I don't know.
You fall asleep after the fourth coming.
You're just wiped out.
who can even stay
I mean, you
awake
should
after
call an Uber, but can I just I need an hour's sleep.
that? Yeah, just let me chill for a minute.
Get me some electrolytes. Let me rest.
I'll make you breakfast tomorrow. Just let's just let it go. There are other passages. I'm going to go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, which verse 6 says, God is just. He will pay back trouble to those who trouble you and give relief to those who are troubled, and to all of us as well. This will happen when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven in blazing fire with his powerful angels.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know what that tells us.
Nothing.
It's not really that useful. Matthew's interesting. This is Matthew chapter 24. This gets fairly specific. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. Skipping ahead a little bit. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So they take this to mean that everyone who has been raptured will be gathered in that final day after the tribulation, and then they'll go down and fight the good fight.
All right.
I will point out that just a couple of verses later, it says, Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
Right.
Whoops.
So, bit of an oopsie.
Right.
Probably best to ignore that one.
Well, anytime you're writing a really terse narrative, you want a ticking clock.
You do.
Right?
You
want a
do.
ticking clock, but now they're stuck with the ticking clock.
And you know what the Bible could really, really use?
What's that?
Is a string section. Like, it is just all horns.
It's all horns. He likes that trumpet.
Yeah.
And also, back in those days, they were starved for good musical instruments.
Apparently.
It is interesting. The whole timeline thing. Obviously, we've had lots of predictions as to when this was going to happen,
So many.
which is interesting because there is scripture that specifically says, no one, not even the angels, not even the heavens,
right.
know when this will happen.
Yeah.
So interesting that everybody would decide that they would know when this would happen.
But the angels don't.
Including William Miller, as we discussed, who led to the Adventist movement. The Jehovah's Witnesses had several dates that they tested out that were going to be the time that this happened. Most recently, Harold Camping famously, his first one, he predicted it September 6th, 1994. That one didn't work out well.
Yeah.
But he's a radio evangelist, for those who don't know Harold Camping.
So couldn't he have just pretended to get raptured and just turn the radio off? Stop
That's what I would have done. Just go into hiding. Now my name is George whatever, and then start a new life in Hawaii. Nope. But what he did do was say, "Sorry, got my calculations wrong," because his was based on numerical,
As they all do. They're like,
biblical maths.
I didn't carry the 6.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, right. It started on the wrong day. So it's going to be So he revised to May 21st of 2011.
Whoa.
And if you'll recall, I don't know if you remember this, even here in Salt Lake City, there were billboards up that were like,
Yeah, I
the
remember
rapture is coming on this date.
Are you ready?
Are you prepared? Like, this was all over the
Yeah.
country.
Because you want to get your beach bod ready before the rapture comes.
Right. I kept thinking, well, put your money's, all of you rapture thinkers, put your money where your mouth is and give it to me because you believe you won't need it.
You know, there was an NPR story that morning, or the next day, I guess, after his last prediction, and there was a guy who seemed completely, sane and well spoken and whatever, passing out things, pamphlets in Times Square, saying, "My God, it's today! It's today! You guys, you've got to repent." He had gone to some nursing home to say goodbye to his mother.
Oh, my God.
He had sold. He'd sold his house. He'd given away everything.
That's
He was
crazy.
out,
Yeah.
and they followed him as the panic started to set in, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So how did he take the lack of news?
He was devastated and horrified, and he was now broken homeless.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. The Camping, by the way, for his part, claimed that a spiritual judgment had occurred
Yeah,
on that date. But that the physical rapture, as he now realizes with the math, obviously, would be on October 21st of that year, which then, as we all know, the Earth actually was destroyed in 2011 October.
yep.
Yeah, another Christian numerologist named David Mead put forth the date of September 23rd of 2017 as using astrology as his guide.
Oh, well.
It just keeps happening.
Yeah, and there's, do you guys remember? Is it Jack Van Impe?
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
He and his lunatic wife.
Oh, they were
had
great.
their newscast.
Yeah.
and they would just read random news stories, and he would try to square it with,
Yep.
you know, like a goat with two tails was born in,
Right.
you know,
And he'd quote some
Chile.
scriptures and spin it.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
And it's all of it, every little bit of it is anything that happens can be evidence of the coming tribulation
Yeah.
that should have happened 4,000 generations ago.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. It's not much. It's a pretty thin thing that these people hang everything on.
hang everything on and believe is going to happen in their lifetimes.
Yeah. Well, and believe it. I mean, really believe it. I mean, LaHaye and that other guy who wrote the Left Behind series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the best-selling series of books ever.
And that actually is kind of what exploded it in
Yeah, exactly.
current times. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, but you guys know that if you consult your book, it's not there. It's so thin.
Yeah.
And you can interpret the same passages that you're interpreting to mean this in a number of ways.
Right.
But no, they are. I think it is a Schadenfreude. I think that they need to feel special.
They want to know that people that disagree with them are going to burn
Right.
and
Yeah.
be destroyed, and they're going to watch it happen.
And that
right.
they're going to get the special treatment. It's basically God's medallion status.
And at the end of the day, at the end of every story, almost every story we cover,
Pre-boarding.
That's right.
the end of almost every story we cover ends with the Jews getting it.
Yeah.
Ends with the Jews somehow paying the price.
And they pay a big price in that narrative.
Now, we're very fortunate that all of these amazing books and all this stuff has been translated into some of the world's greatest cinema. So
Yes, indeed.
if you have any fear of the rapture, if that's a residual thing, it's true. If it's a residual thing that's kind of stuck to your bones, even though you've left, please do go to the God Awful Movies and look up some of the Left Behind movies that they've covered.
There's more than a few.
Do some more. That's the further research.
You will not
on
be
this.
afraid anymore.
It
You
is-
will-
You know
will
what
enjoy it.
what scenes are never in that movie is me going through the piles of clothing for some scratch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gathering wallets up and
It
watches.
just feels like we need to make a post-rapture movie
where everything works
It's
out.
amazing.
where
yes.
everything's just like
There's peace on earth. The trains run on time.
right. Yeah, it's-
Women are paid the same.
That's right.
we suddenly. I mean, we have like a week and a half of like, holy shit, what does this mean? And then we all just collectively shrug and live our best lives.
We collectively shrug, do a lot of laundry, and then life
I
gets
thought you were
better.
going to say do a lot of cocaine.
and a lot of well, that helps with doing a lot of laundry.
Yeah.
and then live in a perfected society
That's right.
forever and ever.
That's right.
In the name
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ, amen.
Because there's no bad atheists.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, with that true note, let's move on.
Moving on. Oh, Uncle Doug.
Uncle Dan.
You know, I believe it was Martin Luther King Jr. who said, "I have a dream." I don't think that that's pertinent to what we're about to talk
And
about.
it's unrelated to Black History Month.
Yes, indeed.
And his dream was of Nephite riches buried deep beneath the earth.
Yeah, well, Martin Luther King Jr., as we all know, our listeners may not know this, but he was super into Mormonism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he was an old-time Mormon, that's for sure.
that's a big deal thing for him. But
Not a lot of people know that.
no, now they do.
Yeah.
and I hope that they disseminate it to all of their friends.
A church that would not allow him to be a full member for 10 years after his death.
Because
Right,
he was
yeah.
too good a Mormon.
That's right.
He was too good at it. So yeah, we've kind of given away a little of the game here, but we're going to talk about
About black rights. No.
about Black History Month in Salem, Utah. So, fellas,
We're going to talk about the thing most unrelated to Black History Month in the country's
Exactly.
history.
Yes, indeed.
one directive of this little internet radio show we have is for us to get fabulously wealthy.
Yes, yeah. And he's working out great. We're
Any
on
day
track.
now.
We're very,
On
very
track.
close to that goal. The other directive of this podcast is to keep Mormons from being able to pretend their shit isn't weird. It's weird AF, people, and they would very much like you not to know that.
That's true.
They can try every name change, roll out an endless series of vacant, grinning Romney bots, but the weirdness is in its marrow, its history, and in the pages of its holy texts, which the church is still tripping over its patrician dick trying to explain away, and yada, 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 until you move along. So today, lads, I want to talk about an echo of that weird, pre-whitewashed, magic-obsessed origin of Mormonism. One that literally echoes if you shout into it.
Oh.
And it is the Dream Mine, also known as the Relief Mine. And you, when I brought this up, you'd never heard of it, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, this is a pretty esoteric.
I'm new to this, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of the,
Right.
like goofy Mormon things. So
Yeah.
like this one, the fact that this one slipped my attention
Yeah.
is fancy.
I think this is illustrative of so much of Mormon weirdness, and it's kind of fun and hilarious too.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the first time you can mention Mormonism and minor in the same sentence and not trouble.
Nobody's mad.
Exactly, without a series of arrests or an alarming series of not arrests.
Right, yeah, that's what I was that's closer to the mark.
I don't know if you know this, dear uncles, but were we to jump in the Heretic Mobile and drive just 60 short minutes south of our studio, and then hike maybe a quarter mile up a shrubby hill overlooking Salem, Utah, we would reach the entryway to a subterranean stash of riches beyond imagining. To the Heretic Mobile! So this beautiful but maybe just a little improbable dream was indeed a dream of a humble dirt farmer from beautiful Spanish Fork, Utah.
Did you say dirt farmer?
Dirt farmer.
He farmed. Okay,
Poor as fuck.
right.
And dumb, apparently. His dirt doesn't grow. But one John Hiram Coyle was born to one of the early Mormon settler families in 1864. And they were already on the tattered edge of the deepest rural poverty when he saw his father killed in a rock slide.
Oh, I hate that.
So, yeah, pretty shitty. So a desire for the security money provided very likely haunted the young Coyle and his destitute family.
Yeah.
So grows up a little bit after serving a mission in the southern U.S., where he became renowned for prophetic dreaming. He returned to his family's humble farm in Spanish Fork, Utah, and it was there, on the night of August 27th, 1894, that a sleeping John Coyle was visited by no less a personage than the angel Moroni.
Ah,
He
he is known to do this. That
That's right.
Moroni.
He appears in dreams. He of the golden guy on top of the temple with a trumpet fame.
Yes.
Moroni whisked Coyle away to a nearby mountain. Together they passed through hundreds of feet of soil and rock, as if it were merely a fog, said Coyle. And within the mountain...
Wakanda.
Yeah, exactly. It's so very much like Wakanda, you're not going to believe it.
It's white conda.
Sorry.
You got to snort. We snorted.
So
I win.
within the mountain, known to locals as Knob Hill,
Moroni showed
Which you're welcome, British listeners.
Moroni showed Coyle 9 huge caverns stacked to the rafters with Nephite treasure, including the sword of Laban, the magic jeweled spectacles, the Urim and Thummim, and the very golden plates upon which the text of the Book of Mormon was written in the non-existent language of Reformed Egyptian.
Wow. All of that in one place.
Amongst a shit ton of other
Yes.
plates and jewelry.
Well, one can only assume that
9
that's,
caverns.
Yeah.
that's where the carcasses of all of the horses and elephants are.
Right. Everything, all the evidence is compiled there. So a quick aside for any Never Mormon listeners, the Nephites were the righteous and therefore light-skinned Jewish tribe that inhabited the pre-Columbian Americas. They were wiped out by their cousins, the Lamanites, who turned against Jesus, naturally became dark-skinned. Everybody knows this. So this hillside in the Intermountain West was the obvious place to drag thousands of tons of treasure whilst in hasty retreat from, say, Guatemala. That's just science. So,
Sounds dumb when you say it.
wait a minute.
You know, this is not far from there is here, and that's where Doug made a hasty retreat from Honduras. So I don't know why it seems weird.
Carrying 9 chambers worth of gold and
Yeah.
doubloons and jewels. So back to the
Or
story.
malaria, one of the two. Who knows?
The only thing such a hoard of riches was missing was a mighty dragon to sit atop it and guard it. But as we know, dragons are just ridiculous made-up things that have no place in a truthful documentary reality like this one. So instead of a dragon, the Nephites smartly placed a medium-small mountain atop their multi-billion-dollar treasure pile and were just waiting for the right Mormon to reveal it to. So Moroni instructed Coyle to dig for the treasure in order to provide financial relief in the final days before the Second Coming, which Moroni seemed to intimate was soonish. Remember, this was 1894. Mm-hmm. So, now again to Never Mormon ears. This might sound pretty daffy, but Mormons who know a little about the young life, the young life of Joseph Smith, so probably less than a third of Mormons, I would say generously,
Right.
will find a lot of familiar story points to Coyle's dream. You see, Goodly Brother Coyle's crazy gold fever dream didn't happen in a vacuum. The founder of Mormonism, one Joseph Smith. Quick, what was his middle name?
H.
Patricia.
He was so poor he didn't have one. It's true, didn't have a middle name. They couldn't afford it. He was more than once tried for defrauding his neighbors and townsfolk as a young man.
Yeah.
It is a matter of public record when he would claim ancient golden treasures were buried on their property and only he could find them by use of scrying, which is looking beneath the surface of the earth with the aid of a peepstone. So after a couple arrests and a lot of pissed-off neighbors with a lot of holes but zero treasures, Smith recalibrated his little brown peepstone, and used it to find a mighty treasure, but one only he could see. He said in various versions of a mighty vision, he was directed to the edge of his family's rented farm in upstate New York, where buried treasure in a hill would be found, including a massive gold breastplate, a sword, the aforementioned Urim and Thummim, the magic eyeglasses that will eventually be pointlessly moot,
Right.
and, of course, a golden book, by which Smith's own very specific description weighed north of 200 pounds.
Also the Leahona. That was in there.
Oh, that's right, the Leahona. It was quite a treasure.
Treasure trove.
Again, another useless thing, the Leahona. We'll talk about another time. Now, for any Mormon nerds out there who want to email us about the 3 witnesses, don't. They all recanted, and no, spiritual eyes are not a thing, and we'll do a segment to dunk on the 3 witnesses another time. So long story short, John Coyle's dream was very much in keeping with foundational early Mormon ideas about the place of magic and magical means of detection in the natural world.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those problems that occurs when you've found a religion and you don't quite think about the implications of saying everyone can receive revelation in
Right.
my religion.
Exactly.
That's never going to lead to anything bad.
God can talk to all of you.
Yeah.
This will work out fine.
And we'll see that they say those things, but as we'll demonstrate with John Coyle, they don't really mean them. So
Right.
these days we all know the Mormon Church is possibly the wealthiest church on earth, with over $32 billion minimum in the U.S. stock market and likely tens of billions more in tax-free real estate all over the world.
And that's without Nephite gold.
Pre-Nephite gold. So
Right.
when Coyle had his dream, Mormonism's fortunes were far less favorable. A long fight with the federal government to achieve statehood and the controversial 1890 Manifesto, causing schisms in the church, left their cupboards pretty bare. So it seems Coyle's aspirational vision was really meant to fill his beloved church's pockets rather than his own. So unfortunately for Coyle, he intersected with another dynamic in the changing church. The post-1890 church was trying like crazy to be seen as part of the American mainstream. So they were desperate to paper over all the scrying and the treasure digging. That was the entirety of their foundation. So Coyle's making a lot of noise about prophecies and treasure was a real turd in their mainstreaming punch bowl. So by now, Coyle had sold 114,000 shares in the mine for $1.50 apiece, which is $3.2 million in today's dollars.
So he was able to sell that to like his neighbors and friends?
At the height of the excitement about the mine, around 30,000 faithful saints held stock.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Which Coyle promised would skyrocket to $1,000 apiece when he hit pay dirt. And stock, all these certificates still exist, and families pass them on.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so they're out there. And anybody has a Dream Mine stock certificate, it would be great to go with our growing collection of religious ephemera here in the studio. And I promise you can have the $1,000 when they find the treasure. How about that?
When it actually matures.
So when it matures, comes to fruition. So now a Mormon bishop, Coyle had another dream in 1914 that he was visited by two of the three Nephites. We talked about these immortal Mayan
What
peasants.
was the third one?
I don't know. He was on.
He was busy.
State Road 6.
He had just discovered bagels. He was really obsessed.
We talked about these immortal Mayan peasants in episode 39. It's way too long a tangent to go on here. But the two of the three, for some reason, told him the mine would not only supply hard currency to the church in the last days, but would also restore the recently outlawed polygamy and the Mormon ecclesiastical communism known as the United Order, which, again, we'll discuss another time. Well, Mormon HQ at Temple Square had about enough of his shit. So they published a letter in their newspaper, the Deseret News, which they still own, called A Warning Voice, in which a very stern church leadership fired a broadside at Coyle without mentioning his name. And I quote church leadership. The First Presidency warns the saints against investing in worthless stock, even if promoters allege that they are guided by dreams and revelations. Almost everyone has heard stories of how such and such has found a rich mine by following directions given in a dream, and many fondly hope for similar luck. But in most instances, it will be found, on investigation, that such stories have little or no foundation in fact.
Oh, wow, that could be extrapolated further than they want.
So, sure, official Mormon Church, go on and yell about the absurdity of someone else having crazy visions about gold and shit. So nutty.
You're almost there.
Yeah. So 5 days after the warning voice was published, the faithful Coyle was removed from his job as bishop, a crushing blow to him and a message received by his ardent disciples. The mine closed operation and the dream went underground. A quick note. This is not some little divot in the hillside. The main shaft goes down more than 2,000 feet.
Holy
Wow.
Yeah, it's a substantial...
Did he buy the land? Did he have the right to do this?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, at the time, they weren't so concerned about who owned the land previously.
Yeah, well, yes, that's
Well, they knew it was the Nephites who'd put the shit there for them to
right,
get.
yeah. Lamanites.
So it's and the guys who worked on this mine didn't take any pay except for a couple shares a day that they worked. So it was a crazy thing to do.
This is a really brilliant little scam he was running.
So it's a crazy thing to do, but they for real fucking did it. So
Yeah.
renowned Mormon apostle and geologist James Talmage went to the mine and did some tests on the soil and rock, declaring it useless. In a 1928 interview with the local press, Talmage declared, "I say to you that the misrepresentations that have been made in selling stock of the Coyle mine are of the evil one."
Wait, what did he expect to find in the tailings?
Well, they also think that they're going to discover veins of mineral, of metals.
see.
But,
I see.
that's so secondary to the real promise, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, according to what they're actually looking for, finding nothing in the soil and
That
the rock
shouldn't matter.
Right.
shouldn't make any difference at all.
Exactly right.
Unless
So-
when they were bringing it in, they were just dropping shit all the way.
Yeah. So despite that, the faithful still occasionally scratched around in the mine, but quietly. And having had enough of this shit, Coyle was called before a high council in 1947 to fully recant his revelatory dream and life's work.
1947?
Yeah, he was really old. Wow. He did so, but he was heartbroken at having to betray himself and to remain in good standing with the church. because he expressed that opinion, he was excommunicated by the church he loved and died a broken man the next year.
Oh.
He was also like 87, but the dream did not die with him. No, dear uncles. John Coyle's disciples renamed it the Relief Mine in 1961.
The Relief Mine.
The Relief Mine, and got back to work seeking the treasure and reissuing stock. Despite spurts of digging over the years, the priceless hoard has yet to be found. But even now, 120 years since the dream began, an online community of believers still hope against hope. So strap in for this online community of believers. I found their weird first generation website, and I poked around. It's a Jell-O salad of the bizarre, the hilarious, and the achingly sad. In the testimonial section, I found a doozy of a tale. It's so rambling, so all over the place, that I had to Google the guy whose name was attached to it to make sure it wasn't a Andy Kaufman level prank. Right? And it seems it's not. So here's some highlights from the 18-paragraph fever dream of a guy I will not name, so this isn't more cruel than it's intended to be. Speaking of his childhood neighbor that first introduced, and this is like a contemporary person. Speaking of his childhood neighbor that first introduced him to the dream mine, he would talk and get excited more about freedom and our country than the gospel, it seemed at times. But when it came to the Relief Mine, that was his very favorite to talk about and most beloved. He later adds, It wasn't until I met my cousin's girlfriend, and then when my cousin was in Arizona, that his girlfriend and I ran away together and got married when I was 17. that I was introduced to the Relief Mine again. But this time it was with the full power of the Spirit and in more detail of the knowledge and importance.
Wait a minute.
A little later, his adventure begins.
This is unnecessary detail.
Just bragging.
Just a little bit of a humble brag.
Guys, that's nothing. Later, his adventure begins. My wife and I read Norman Pierce's book, The Dream Mine, one chapter every night together. When we had read the whole book, I felt the Spirit very powerfully and knew it was true and that someday it would save my family. So then I called up the Relief Mine and even drove to the Relief Mine, but it was hard to get any response.
Called up. How do you call a mine?
It has a phone, apparently. The Nephites left an operating phone. Still later, a battered but unbroken hero keeps an ember of hope alive. Then years later, after I had married and divorced several women along the way,
Whose cousins did they belong to?
I had married my most recent wife. She found out about me owning the 20 shares and that they were now selling for $25 per share. So she got greedy and tried to convince me to sell the shares and pay her debts or to pay my debts or some debts with them. Just brief aside, that's $500. When I refused and told her that they are of the Lord and not to be sold, and that they will save me and my family, whichever family at the time he had, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Save me and my family.
Or all of them.
When the setting in order came, she said she would divorce me every single time I would go to the Relief Mine Service to do projects and work. I knew no matter what, I had to work at the Relief Mine and feel the peace and joy of the Spirit of the Lord there. I would feel that as though an angel was with me and calm my soul and lift me up in joy. I would go to work. I would go and work on the projects, even if I lost my wife through divorce. And this great,
that guy's not afraid of
Seems
divorce
to be a
anymore.
well-exercised muscle.
Oh no, you're going to divorce me. I'm terrified.
Just another day that ends in a Y. So he concludes, we will have the fullness of the gospel again, which is united order and celestial plural marriage. We will have temple blessings and priesthood set right again. There will be food enough and money enough and housing and clothes. We'll get through this. I don't believe there will be any Babylonish things there, like video games, immodest clothing, TV, music, or even candy bars, etc. I'm not making a word of that up.
Candy bars, you whores of Babylon.
Babylonish. Babylonish?
Bunch
things.
of Babyloni.
So, There are several pages of this kind of thing. It's straight, unfiltered, old-timey Mormonism crazy balls in the internet age.
Oh, my God.
You
I
can go
love it
yourself
so
to
much.
reliefmine.com and give it a look. So Vice.com did an article on the Dream Mine in 2016.
Oh,
did they?
really?
Yeah, and they focused on how believers had taken... Coyle had a bunch of dreams, right? And these prophetic dreams. And he kind of didn't write them down. He would just tell people, and so then they all kind of go through the telephone game, right?
The best way to disseminate the word of the Lord is through sort of
Word of mouth.
and
Yeah.
hoping everybody gets it right.
So anyway, the believers now have taken one of Coyle's dreams and applied it to Trump. Like he had some dream about a collapsing elephant, and apparently, which by the way, we're also not here in the Book of Mormon times, but apparently, it has to do with the Republican Party collapsing, and that being the signal of the beginning of the end. So these days, they're a bunch of old-timey Mormon libertarian preppers. So huge surprise. But here's what a guy called William Anderson told Vice about the coming Armageddon. You know, with nuclear war, if you live in the right place, it's not that big of a deal, and would actually come as a relief. Anderson says, since he believes targets would likely be cities like Washington, D.C., the places they're going to hit, they can have them.
Oh,
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you live in rural Utah, there are no symbolic targets there. It is a fairly safe place.
that
It's
is
true.
a true statement.
Yeah. So, crucially, if the work continued and the treasure was found, not only would Coyle's hidden hoard be worth billions in cash, but more importantly for Mormonism, it would be the first physical proof of their claims of an ancient Jewish civilization in the Americas.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's odd to me they aren't using their billions to split that mountain in half. So
Well, it also could be that they know that there's nothing down there.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like there is an explanation.
ye of little faith. So fellas, that's the whole story.
Boo!
The tale of a treasure greater than all the tombs of Egypt combined lies just a couple miles west of the Payson exit off I-15 South. For anyone with a little shovel and a lot of faith, go get it.
You know, the Dream Mine plays a pretty prominent role in John Krakauer's book about Mormonism.
Under the Banner of Heaven? I don't remember
The Laffertys, the Lafferty brothers, before they
We're dream miners?
decapitated their niece and
Yeah.
killed their sister-in-law, were dream miners.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
See, it can only lead to good.
Yep.
I think that's what we've learned.
It all circles back to something wonderful. So enjoy, everyone.
Well, thanks, Mark. Let's move on. Hey, uncles.
Yeah.
You know, this little endeavor of ours,
Yeah.
we have one way currently that we get anything out of it other than just people's praise, which, frankly, we don't crave at all.
Right, until we sell out to Big Oil or Big Pharma.
Right.
Any day now.
Which we're waiting for.
Or
That's
Wonder
good.
Bible.
WonderBible.ru.
Just wait until we do all of our pro-oil heretic segments.
It's
But
going to be weird, but it's going to be proper.
How to frack.
right. Until that moment, we do have some folks to thank because people give us. They generously donate from their own goodwill.
Yes.
And their own pocketbooks.
Or an account they have access to.
Yes, indeed, which either way works for us.
Yeah.
So thanks so much to our newest patrons. God damn you. Slurdebarfest.
Slurdebarfest.
Oh, my God. So
Yeah.
we're honored to have you, Slartibart Fest.
Awesome.
I've never... You guys seem to know something that I don't
Dan
know.
is admitting something very shameful about himself. in this
Hitchhiker's
moment.
Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. So Slaughterbarfest is on the books now.
We should talk about him.
Please, if you're listening, Zaphod Beeblebrox, you may continue as well.
And then Karen. So
You got to up your game, Karen.
apparently you do. But thanks to both of you. You're amazing, and you've now joined the ranks of the best people in the world.
Indeed.
Yes. The eternal, the immortal.
It is fine if you listen for free. That is not something that we feel like you should feel bad about.
Exactly right. It's,
Unless you can afford to give us money, in which case, what the fuck are you doing?
What's your problem?
if you can't afford it, don't you worry about it, because lots of other listeners are being shamed at this very moment
That's right. That's right.
into coughing up some shekels for their favorite uncles. So please do that.
And also, of course, as always, you give us 5 stars, review us on your various places. It helps to get the word out,
That's right.
And that's the whole point.
More love is more love. So fill the universe with stars, and contribute what you can.
Indeed. Let's move on.
Well, Uncle Dan,
Yeah.
you know what makes me crazy?
Everything?
People who wear a tiny hat. Either no hat or all hat.
You hate Bolivians?
I hate Bolivians. They're tiny little hats. I hate clowns. Let's see. I hate children.
Look, if you're not wearing my hat,
Yeah.
then you are other than me, and I hate you just for whatever headwear.
Yeah. I hate people who wear hats demonstratively.
Yeah.
There you
Let's
go.
move on.
Moving on.
Doug, you have something
Uncle
to say?
Doug, how do you feel about headwear in general?
Well, let's talk about some specific headwear.
Levi the Weasel in the studio is
right.
wearing a little Pope's hat right
a little
now.
Pope's hat.
Yes, indeed.
So, as I'm sure most of our listeners are aware, there's a story in the news right now about an American jihadi who went to ISIS in Syria.
American G. I thought you were talking about Steve King
That's right, Steve King. Exactly.
or Marco Rubio.
Oh, I would pay for his ticket to Syria. So there's one, Hoda Muthana is her name, and she was an American-born, and we'll talk about her citizenship status in a minute, but a Muslim, born into a very Muslim family. Her father was a Yemeni ambassador to this country. Or not exactly an ambassador, but worked in the embassy anyway. So she was raised in a very strict Muslim household, and if you've seen the stories, she's in Syria right now in a refugee camp. She's asking to return to America with her young child, but she, back in 2014, she walked away from America, very literally, flew to Syria, and burned her passport, and kind of became a American mouthpiece for the Syrian ISIS. So anyway, her story is kind of interesting, and it'll lead us into this larger point that I want to talk about. But she was raised in a very conservative Muslim household. She had to wear her headdress all the time. She had to dress like a Muslim. She couldn't have really much interaction with other people that were outside of the faith. She was homeschooled until college.
But born in the States, lived in the States.
Born in the States, yep. And she speaks with when you hear, it's very kind of off-putting because when you hear what she said about jihad in this American accent, it's very off-putting.
Right.
Anyway, she had only one outlet as a young woman, and that was her religion. So she fell very deep into her religion, and she wasn't allowed to have a smartphone until she graduated high school. And when she did, unsurprisingly, she was perfectly primed to be radicalized. So she was very heavily recruited by ISIS. This is unknown to her parents, obviously, at the time. And when she was at the University of Alabama, she told her parents she was going on a field trip. She took out her tuition money that was left, used that to buy a ticket to Syria, and went to join ISIS.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Great study abroad you got there.
Yeah, exactly. So when she got there, things went off the rails pretty much immediately. Even though she was kind of a commodity, an American woman who was an ISIS member, she was still a woman.
She was a woman.
That's right.
Did she not notice that before she went?
She hadn't quite figured that part out
She
yet.
should have paid attention to that bit.
That's right. So she was immediately forced to marry a jihadi who died 3 months later. She married another jihadi, again, against her will. This guy would end up being the father of her child. He died in battle. She married a third time.
Jesus.
This guy is missing in action. They don't know where he is as ISIS collapsed. So
Right.
Now, I don't want to make this sound like she's a totally innocent bystander in this narrative. Her Twitter feed became very, very a very important recruitment tool for ISIS in the West.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
she has. I mean, you among many other tweets. Here's one that she tweeted. Go on drive-bys and spill all their blood, or rent a big truck and drive all over them. Veterans, Patriot, Memorial, etc. Day parades. Go on drive-bys, spill all of their blood, or rent a big truck and drive all over them. Kill them.
Great.
Hard to find a lot of nuance there. But,
Exactly.
but poetry is what it is.
Now, she claims after a period of time she became very disillusioned, but that didn't mean she could step away from her role. Again, she was a woman in Syria.
Yeah, she was kind of trapped.
Yeah, she was very trapped.
And she'd burned her passport.
She burned her passport, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've given up your citizenship.
No, it just means you need to get a fucking passport before you can travel.
That's right.
It means you've got a very awkward trip into the U.S. consulate.
Well,
Yeah, Damascus.
Exactly. So as ISIS collapsed, she found herself on the run, literally. She and her 18-month-old son ended up spending time in the desert hiding. She ate grass until she was captured by the Kurds, and she's now in a refugee camp in Syria, where the Kurds are not too keen on members of ISIS, as you might imagine.
Weird. Why
so
not?
Her story, so she's trying to come back to this country. Her citizenship is actually in question because she was born on American soil, but her father, as a diplomat, didn't have had a diplomatic immunity, and therefore, with that immunity, your kid, even though born here, is not a citizen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but so what happened was the Yemeni government collapsed in civil war in the mid-1990s, and specifically when it collapsed and when he lost his job and therefore his immunity matters a great deal.
Sure.
So he claims that the government collapsed, he lost his immunity, and then she was born, making her a citizen.
Right.
Well, it depends on, a collapsing government doesn't necessarily have time to take HR
This all
calls.
depends on how you figure the date of Easter, I think.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's a lunar cycle.
the government's claiming that that the Yemeni government still existed. He had his immunity when she was born, therefore she's not a citizen. And because we're living in the worst timeline, Secretary Mike Pompeo has already singled her out by name to say that she's not a citizen, and Trump has claimed credit saying he told him to say that. So
Great.
yeah, good stuff.
Good
Now,
stuff.
This is pretty scary stuff, and she was definitely a jihadi. She definitely gave aid and comfort to some of the worst people that have ever walked on the earth.
Yep.
And explicitly encouraged and threatened death,
Yes.
I suppose.
And was decidedly anti-American.
Most definitely. And if she does manage to get back here, she will be in prison for some period of time, no doubt about it. So,
For what crime specifically?
terrorism.
Just really, really bitchy.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
Just being ignorant.
yeah. So she is claiming basically that she was radicalized in place. She was radicalized in America by her community and the direction she took here, and then was recruited by ISIS. And so, because she was forced to wear the hijab and forced to be only a Muslim, her identity was so wrapped up in that.
And homeschooled.
And homeschooled.
And also, and she lived in Alabama?
She lives in Alabama, but there's apparently a large Muslim community, very insular, as you might imagine, in Alabama.
what they don't. There's not a lot of community outreach.
For some reason, there's not a lot of community
Weird.
outreach. I know, it's strange. So what I wanted to talk about today is was there some point in her early life where a little nudge or an encounter might have saved her or pushed her in a different direction? And was it because of what she was forced to wear that didn't happen? And I think the larger conversation I'd like to get into here with you guys is, as atheists, what is our responsibility, or what should we do in regards to people who wear their religion on the outside? And I know that differs from religion to religion and from situation to situation. But Hasidic Jews, devout Muslims, Amish people, Mormon missionaries,
Right.
they put their religion outside of themselves so that you know.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, do we have an obligation, or how should we treat them? I'm really like to get you guys' take on that, how that works.
Well, I mean, is what's her name? Hoda
Muthana.
Is she making claims that, I don't know if she's making claims, but I have to wonder if part of her experience was growing up in Alabama and being so otherized, by choice or otherwise, that the way Americans treated her, that what affinity did she have with the culture she was with the world she was living in?
Right.
She's claiming that it wasn't a result of bullying, but it was a result of her parents didn't allow necessarily in her life for there to be this outreach or there to be this.
This isn't a bullying. She's not laying it there.
She, as a young woman, she wanted community, she wanted friendship.
Yeah.
And the only place she was allowed to have that was within the religion. So she went deep. I did the same thing.
Yeah, and you were radicalized.
That's right.
At the Missionary Training Center.
That's correct.
Which is true. These guys go to get radicalized at this place.
That's a good way to look at it.
But there have been these spasms of kind of Islamic terrorism that have gone on in past decades, and one of which was kind of a lot of violence in the UK.
Yeah.
And what they found was happening there was not. These were not generally first generation. I mean, there were the famous beheading where those African immigrants beheaded that soldier. It was insane. But it wasn't first generation Muslims that were that were causing these problems. It was the it was the native born British subjects, these young men who felt so alienated by society in the UK. And again, they have agency. They're making decisions. They could not go join ISIS. They could not do these things. But they were pushed by an incredibly racist. They were unwelcome in their own.
They felt unwelcome
in their own society.
Yeah.
So they went off to Pakistan and did what they did.
Yeah. But I see women in hijabs all the time in the grocery store, and I mean, traveling around the country, you see people, Hasidic Jews. I don't know if we're, I guess my question is, as atheists, should we try and engage, or should we not, or is it situational?
Engage in what way, though? I mean,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I have a couple of thoughts about this. My first thought is that that our society works best when we embrace multiculturalism as well as we can. When we open ourselves up to everyone being part of our community.
Right.
And I think that actually does solve a lot of the problems of, when you reach out and embrace others, they don't feel as alienated, and then they maybe don't do shitty things because they think that they're alone.
Right.
And this applies to, I don't know, incels and whatever. Like, the more that we can embrace people and take them as they come, the better off the whole society is. But it's not like, we're not a group that goes around proselytizing.
Yeah,
It's not like we're going to go around saying, hey, you need to join us. I just think it's all about... but the other thing is that a lot of these groups insulate themselves. They do it on purpose. They don't want us to be able to penetrate that.
And I think that's right. And I also think that the fact of the matter is some of the most damaged and helpless victims of religious oppression are the people that are forced to wear this bullshit.
Yeah.
It's cultural and it's historical, but the hijab for me has always seemed like a symbol of oppression. But if you ask the woman wearing it, she's not going to agree with me, right?
No. But look, there's examples on both sides of this issue where you see these incredibly brave women in Iran, taking their friends, filming them taking their hijabs off publicly in the street. I saw one the other day where this total stranger man is like, okay, I'm going to start hitting you if you don't put your hijab on.
Jesus.
And he starts hitting her, and he's like, I told you I'd hit you.
Right.
But then you have the other side of this, which is France trying to ban, the hijab in school, or banning hijabs in schools. And so, I have a friend from Jordan who talks to a female who's not Muslim, she's a Christian, Jordanian Christian, who says hijabs are never voluntary. It's bullshit.
Right.
Burqas are never voluntary. She's like, fuck that shit.
Right.
But, it is, again, it is a religious freedom and a
Well, let me complicate this even a little bit more.
yeah.
I printed off this picture, and this is the picture of the hijab, the kind of the Hope Obama art style.
Yeah, the Shepherd
Fairy style
propaganda
and
art.
it's a woman wearing a hijab that's made out of an American flag. Now everyone's seen this.
Yeah, it's a really common image.
Yeah, and it's supposed to now it's this symbol of freedom, and I'm conflicted about that. Because
Well, look, I think that our job isn't to figure out whether they need to stop wearing hijabs.
Right.
Our job isn't to figure out whether these people should or shouldn't be wearing what they're wearing. If they're in these United States, the best thing we can do is enfranchise them
Yeah.
and enfranchise the individuals and the groups. Because if they feel enfranchised, if they feel a part of the larger society as well as their own insular society, that makes it so much easier for them to engage and maybe think to themselves, okay, well, this isn't working for me.
Right.
There's another thing out there. I know how many things are out there now.
Right.
Maybe I can find something that works for me. We know that there are a lot of atheists who are former Muslims. So I think that the job of the free thinker, of the of Americans and people in free countries the world over is one of enfranchisement, is one of
Right.
acceptance, and learn from them,
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think
learn and embrace.
that it's the ideas that, for instance, she ran towards, this woman ran towards, is an incredibly toxic ideology.
Right.
Right. And if people aren't given space to explore great ideologies or pluralistic ideologies, then they're going to go in that direction. So,
Or at least there's the danger of that.
there's the danger of that. So, yes, I think it's the idea of the ideas are toxic and bad. The people are not.
Right.
Until they fully embrace them and then start blowing people up and doing shit like that. But even those people come back from it.
Yeah.
They can come back from it. So,
And if you have trouble with separating a human being from their ideas, from their toxic beliefs, then probably just don't even think about the beliefs at all, because it's much more important to embrace the human than it is to because the problem is that when someone gets yelled at in the market
Right.
for wearing a hijab or whatever, that is how we prime someone to become our enemy.
Right.
well, and to just turn away from, because why wouldn't they? If you're
Right.
just constantly abused, like,
Yeah.
trust me, if you were walking down the street and you see a random woman in a hijab, she has gotten so much fucking abuse.
Right.
Yeah.
In this country or in a European country. Don't be part of that vector.
And not only that,
Smile and say hello.
I agree.
yeah, you don't have to make friends with them, but at very least, if you see someone else abusing them, you should step in.
100% agree.
You should be making. We should, as a society, be vocally not okay with someone abusing
Right.
a person just because of their religious garb.
Yeah.
or
And I think it's entirely appropriate to be effusively kind to people in that are wearing the hijab or they're Hasidic Jews.
Yeah.
And I'm not being. I don't think it's fake or false. I think that as atheists, we've found a better way, and we don't go tell them, "Hey, I'm an atheist. You should be like me."
Right.
But they should at least know that not everybody's shitty, and that this is a country that can be accepting, and maybe there's
Right.
a way out.
If we, not every atheist calls themselves a humanist. I certainly call myself that, and part of that, we are children of the Enlightenment, and these Western values we all claim to have. You put your money where your fucking mouth is. Like,
Right.
if you believe in pluralism, individual freedom to believe and behave in whatever way you want. Put your money where your mouth is,
Right.
and allow them to occupy the same space you do.
The best thing we can do is show them what the happiness of pluralism looks like.
Right.
Rather than like preaching about it in an intellectual way isn't helpful.
Right.
Or I mean, it's helpful, but it's not. It doesn't do the job of
Right. And attacking them and behaving badly towards them is a product. You are acting fearfully.
Right.
Don't be afraid of them.
Right.
Right. That's where those ugly emotions come from, and people screaming at people of color and for having barbecues in the wrong place.
Right.
And yelling at women in hijabs or kids wearing yarmulkes.
Right.
That's an awful, fearful way to behave towards another human being.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say don't do that.
Yeah, and I think because we have rejected religion as a whole, we're not looking at it from a narrow point of view. Like, oh, you're silly, stupid hat. They're all kind of silly.
Right.
Right. And so
everybody's got their silly, even if they're not wearing it.
exactly.
Catholicism is no less stupid just because you can't see it when somebody's walking down the
Right.
street.
But people who do wear their religious garb on the outside are putting that out there, and unintentionally or being forced to. But I think you're absolutely right. I think kindness, acceptance is the only way to be, and not being fearful. I think that's absolutely
Yeah,
right.
I mean, just being decent.
Decent.
You may be the only person who's been decent to them that whole day.
Yeah.
So be that guy.
So I guess what we're saying is, if you see someone wearing a yarmulke or a hijab or whatever, invite them to your pork roast.
Yes, but bring some cheeseburgers to their bris.
Offer to pay for their bacon. It's the least you can do.
Oh dear God! But yeah, it's just if they feel like their society is a safe space, and those ideas are attractive to them, and if you feel like as an atheist you are evangelical or want to proselytize, play the long game.
Yeah.
Make the world a wonderful safe space for them to be in, and maybe those arcane ideas just become less and less attractive. And I think that's kind of the goal of society.
And it becomes less attractive to the second generation.
Right.
They can identify as being American or Western or whatever, wherever you are. They can identify with being part of the larger culture rather than what's happening when they feel isolated and therefore go down that path.
Yeah.
So,
Well, fellas, we just solved world peace.
oh, thank God.
It's cured. Everything's right in the world. I think we can safely move on.
Just generally don't be a dick.
Be nice.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah. Moving on.
Well, friends, that's it for this week's show.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at howtoheretic.com.
Or if you have suddenly found yourself in the presence of millions of other naked people, tell us about it on our voicemail at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986. I'm also on Twitter at HowToHeretic.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much once again to our patrons. We love ya.
Love ya, and thanks so much for Cody Layton for editing the show. Love you.
And thank all of y'all for tuning in to the podcast.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.